What's up, guys? So I didn't really plan to make this video, and it's kind of a difficult one to make, but here we go. I was confronted by my parents for making a post in regards to what's happening in Gaza right now, in Palestine. And I was confronted about it, expecting support. I was told to take it down and to just stay silent about it. I was confused. I was hurt and I was confused. I had no idea as to why exactly they thought this way. I had a list of reasons as I continued to talk to them, but it was less talking and more of just berating and lecture-based discussion. And throughout this whole thing, I thought to myself, well, why be silent about things like this? And if this video came across your For You page, then it's not for no reason. I'm sure you are being tested by the universe just like me, whether in some person, way, shape, or form, with a belief of yours, something that you hold true to yourself, and you will be challenged one way or another. And I'm sure that the universe, like I said, is also testing you. And when I was tested, I genuinely questioned myself. I questioned if what I was doing was worth it at all, because that's how they framed it. They framed it as a futile attempt to try and appease what's going on. And then I started questioning myself. I started asking myself, well, if I stand for what I believe in, is it at all going to make a difference in the world? And I thought to myself, probably not right now. It's a harsh reality, and it makes listening to them all more convincing and rational. But then you have to ask yourself, well, is it going to stay this way forever? Because you see, I recently read a book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I highly recommend it. And it's the idea that man should have beliefs and principles in store not only for himself, but beliefs and principles that he feels as though are bestowed from a higher divinity. It's a belief not only in a higher divinity, but in humanity, whether or not you even believe in a creator, just a faith in humanity. And reading this book, he talks about how belief can only get you so far, right? It's an action. And so whether I'm reposting something, whether you're reposting something, whether you pick up a book, whether you sit down and make a video, whether you go to school and try and educate yourself, to try and build a career and a platform to really base off your concerns, there's a variety of things that you can do in order to really just push your belief out there. And Marcus talks about this. He talks about how important and just how significant action really is. This really reminded me of something Marcus said in his book, where it's something my parents also brought up. It's the idea of being detached from the world, not too much and not too little. And in being detached, you aren't concerned with current world events, and they do this out of safety, right? They come here with nothing and they build something, and this fear of getting removed from the country, this fear of being just ostracized for their beliefs, this is all fear. It's fear speaking. And Marcus talks about being detached from society. He says that a tree branch separated from a tree can only happen so many times before it's actually noticeable, and it can't be grafted back to place. And people in my life, they were talking about how I should be detached from world events and current world issues. And I guess society overall too, if you think about it, whatever is mainstream and whatever people feel as though they need to hop on trend with. Because with this whole issue going on, right, you have people jumping on board simply because saying the exact opposite is just not an option if you want to be seen as human. And again, just because the majority think one way, it doesn't mean it's right. But then again, this could be an idea because they think I'm only thinking this because it's trendy, or because I feel as though I have to, or I feel as though I can make a world difference. And there's just a variety of reasons, right? Especially at people our age. I'm going into college, and I was actually threatening to be kicked out, but I wasn't too concerned because I'm moving into college. But I'm going into college. And with that being said, trends and attitudes and ideas, they're all over the place in college, right? And going into college, I plan to educate myself. Don't worry, I'm not waiting until I'm in school to actually take that initiative to learn. I'm doing a lot of things. But the point I'm getting at is, as I'm going into college, I'm going to be educating myself. Sorry, I just thinking of it all, it's difficult, because you go into college and you expect this support to really advocate and push for what you think is right, and you don't get that, at least in some scenarios, at least in this scenario, and it's disheartening. It's very disheartening. And going into college, I really thought I'd have this backbone, really just push to break barriers and actually advocate for people, preach a message that I feel needs to be shared with the world, and do what I feel is right, because I could just be sitting in front of you on vibes, whether it's my Instagram story or a video, and just put on this facade for you, but these are things I genuinely believe in. I hope you have beliefs and principles that you believe in, because if you stand for everything, then you stand for nothing. I can't remember who said that, but it's just so true. If you don't have any principles, core values, or anything, if you don't have a moral compass, then there's not much that separates you from a thing without a human conscience. And that sounds messed up, but the ability to differentiate right from wrong, have a standard and a set of values, is what honestly makes us human. Because it's hard. It's hard when people don't support you in what you think is right, whether it be out of fear, whether it be out of just a lack of safety, whether it be out of anxiety, whether it just be out of not seemingly being realistic. You just have to stick to it regardless, and eventually turn it into action. I'm turning it into action as best I can, and my career path is going to be seemingly slow, but I can see this accelerating within these next few years as I move into this next chapter of my life. It's difficult, but I just know that everyone has their set of challenges one way or another. And actually, one more thing, I read this in a book, Man's Search for Meaning, by Dr. Frankl. He says that if life essentially makes you suffer and you come out colder, then you weren't worthy of that challenge. You weren't worthy of the suffering that life gave you. So, and he said Frankl says his biggest fear in life is not being worthy of suffering, not being worthy of life's challenges. It means not coming out better, more empathetic, more human, more compassionate from life's hardships. And so this less hardship, more of a challenge. It hurts, but I'm going to come out more compassionate and more firm in what I believe in to really make this world a better place. And I hope you do the same. So thank you.